One hero, one fate. A princess sentenced to die. The gods intervene. A king who wants him dead. And a gorgon waiting in the dark. This is the story of Perseus. They say destiny can't be outrun, not even by a king. Perseus of Argos went to the oracle for glory and walked away with terror. Not in battle, not in old age. You will die by your own grandson. He didn't hear a warning. He heard a death sentence. So he imprisoned his only daughter, Danae, in a bronze tower, sealed like a rich man's coffin. No visits, no lovers, no escape. He thought he'd broken fate, but no one breaks the will of the gods. High on Olympus, Zeus noticed Danae, imprisoned like a prize no one could claim. Not pity, desire, curiosity. No man could enter that tower, so Zeus stopped being a man. He descended as golden rain, a warm glow pouring through bronze and stone. Danae trembled, then stared in awe, then understood. A god was there. Zeus didn't ask, he took the moment, and Perseus was born from that act. When Perseus learned the truth, he didn't see a grandson. He saw his own death crawling closer, so he chose the sea. He trapped mother and child in a wooden chest and threw them into the waves, hoping the ocean would finish what he feared to do himself. But fate doesn't sink that easily. Days later, the chest drifted onto a small island. Seriphos, a fisherman, Dictys, opened it and found a broken mother and a boy with destiny in his blood. Perseus grew up under Dictys' protection, far from kings and prophecies. No crown, no palace, yet he walked like royalty. Perseus wasn't the problem, the king was. Polydectes wanted Danae, and Perseus stood in his way. So he set a trap, a banquet, a challenge. Bring me gifts worthy of a king. But Perseus had nothing. No gold, no horses, no treasure. And in one proud, reckless moment, he said it. Then I'll bring you something better. Medusa's head. Polydectes smiled, because he knew that mission only ends one way. Dead. Medusa was more than a monster. She was a message. A warning carved into flesh and curse. One glance, and you became stone. But Perseus was not alone. The gods were watching. Athena came down from Olympus and gave him a shield like a perfect mirror. Hermes handed him a sword so sharp it could slice the dark itself. And the nymphs armed him with miracles, winged sandals, a cloak that turned him into shadow, and a sacred bag to hold Medusa's head. No promises, no mercy, just one thing, a chance. Following the gods' signs, Perseus flew to the Gorgon's domain. The ground was littered with stone statues, heroes who failed. In the dark, Medusa slept, but her serpent hair never stopped moving. One direct look meant death, so Perseus walked by reflection only, breathing slow, step by step, like every step cost a life. Then, close enough, he moved. One strike, one cut, her head came free. And it was still alive, eyes blazing with hate. He shoved it into the magic bag, just as her sisters woke up shrieking for blood. On the way home, Perseus saw what no hero can walk past. Andromeda, a princess, chained to a rock facing a furious sea. She was a sacrifice, offered to a sea monster to appease the gods. Perseus didn't bargain. He didn't ask. He decided. When the beast erupted from the waves, Perseus lifted Medusa's head. One look, and the monster became stone. He saved Andromeda, and she chose him as her fate. With Andromeda beside him, and Medusa's head in his hands, Perseus returned to Seriphos, and there he found his mother, cornered by Polydectes, the coward who sent him to die. Perseus entered the hall like the end of a story. He opened the bag and showed the Gorgon's face. In one breath, the king and his men became stone. He freed his mother with no army, no throne, only a son's rage and resolve. Later, Perseus traveled to athletic games in a distant city, trying to live like any other man. But destiny doesn't forget. In a single discus throw, fate found its target. The disc struck an old man in the crowd, Perseus, his grandfather, the king who ran from prophecy. And in that moment, without knowing, Perseus fulfilled the curse that marked him before birth. Perseus didn't choose his fate, but he met it head on. He built cities, he raised a bloodline that would intertwine with gods and kings. And his name lived on. In flames, in stone temples, in poem, in whispers. Because some heroes aren't born to escape prophecy. They're born to complete it. Join the fight. Subscribe to Epic Stories, because the legends never end.